Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. And it took me a couple of days to get around to doing this one, only because this was such a massive box set that it took me a long time to get around to babbling about it, because I had a lot to listen to. But before I get into that, I just want to ask everybody to like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because it's kind of what we do here. We talk about bands that we love. A lot of times I talk about great bands that have been around for quite a while, sometimes some new stuff, but mainly it's the legacy bands or whatever you want to call them. And we just chit-chat, tell stories. I do a lot of babbling. People share their stories in the comments and what they think, and that's what we do. So if you're into that, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you're not into that, appreciate you checking it out. But we're talking about, or should I say babbling about, Thin Lizzy today, and their box set's called 74, 75, kind of their follow-up to the 76 box set they recently did. And this is focusing on the albums Nightlife and Fighting. And kind of like this is their era where they had, like, they really developed their sound, in my opinion, during this era. This is kind of like the signature Thin Lizzy sound, and everything from this point on kind of like followed suit with this. And this is, I mean, the first albums were great. I really enjoyed them, but I think this is where they really made their footprint in music, was this era. And it's got Phil Lynott on vocals and bass as always. This is where we have Scott Gorham on guitar and Brian Robertson on guitar, and Brian Downey on drums. Now Gary Moore was involved a lot in the Nightlife album. He played guitar in like several of those tracks, like 3 or 4 of the songs on that one. I probably should look that up ahead of time, but I never do that. So yeah, so Gary Moore, they all have that similar, I mean, they're completely different guitar players, obviously, but they have a very similar sound, and I think fit really, really well into the Thin Lizzy sound. And even when John Sykes came aboard, like later on, he has that same style to his playing as these guys did, I think. So for me, this is like where I think Thin Lizzy just really grabbed my ear, and so I was really happy to see this coming out. Took me a while to get through. There's 7 CDs here, so it took a while to get through all of this stuff. Normally I jump right into the bonus stuff, but there was so much here, I just decided to go right through it from beginning to end. And disc 1, I actually haven't listened to Nightlife in a while, the album itself. I hadn't pulled out and listened to it in a while, and what this one is, it's got Nightlife, the original mix, and then a complete remix from 2024 done on this one. And I know I had some things I did and didn't like about the 76 remix of Jailbreak, and so I was a little bit, I don't know, hesitant to make any preconceived notions what this was going to sound like, but I was pretty much on target with what I thought it was going to be. It is a lot brighter sounding. The remix is a lot brighter sounding than the original mix. The original mix, these 70s albums, like a lot of them, just have this very warm tone. I really enjoy the way the drums sound on like a lot of these 70s albums. Like the original mixes of like a lot of bands, just there's something in the air going on back in those days that I enjoyed the drum sound. That's gone a little bit here in the remix. They're a little bit more snappy and brighter sounding, which is kind of what I expected. The clarity between the instruments is more clear, a lot brighter sounding guitar. Basses are more noticeable. They aren't as thick in this mix. So love it or hate it, that's kind of what this is. It feels just more modern, I guess. The mix didn't take away from the songs, however, the songs are great. Although I hadn't listened to it in quite a while, and I heard them, say that I think they referred to this as their lounge album, and I kind of get it now listening back. It's really good songs, but the production style of it was more not as rock. The guitar tones themselves weren't quite as raw, they aren't quite as distorted, whatever, but the songs are still good. Still in Love With You is like, it's funny because Gary Moore, I think, played that song through his entire career, and the songs like It's Only Money is actually pretty good. Showdown's got that interesting, unique style that I hadn't really heard before with them, almost, I don't want to say rap, but this more spoken word type thing going on at first. Of course, Sha La La, which is a weird title. It's kind of a Boys Been a Cool rockin' song, so they're in there. So it was fun to listen to that again, and but Fighting is the album that like really did it for me. That was like really the one. And it's funny, it kicks off with a cover song, an old Bob Seger song, which, going back to when I first started listening to Thin Lizzy, I didn't even realize it was a cover song. And I always think it's cool when bands can actually take a song and make it their own, and it kind of becomes their song. And that's kind of what they did with this one. And it's always been, I think was a staple song on their live shows from that point on too. This album's a lot more rockin', like right up my alley. This one really did it for me. Some of my favorite songs of their whole entire catalog are on this album. Wild One is actually not as rockin' a song, but has been one of my favorite ones. And I remember when John Norum did that, I thought he did a great job of that one. I think he covered a song actually off of Nightlife, one of his albums too. What the heck song? I'd have to check that out. I think he did. It's Only Money he covered? I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. Can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was It's Only Money he did on one of his other blues albums, Play Your Blues or Play Yard Blues, whatever that album was called. I'm going to have to check into that. I just popped into my head. But yeah, so anyway, back to the Fighting album. Some great songs on there. Just too many to even name. Like, there's not a clunker on this album for me. I know a lot of people rate a couple of the other albums, like maybe even Jailbreak is one of their top-notch ones, and there's no bad album. Let's just get that out of the way. For me, there's no bad album, but this one, really one of my favorites for sure. But so they only did like 4 remixes. Rosalie, Wild One, King's Vengeance, and Silver Dollar. That's the only thing that got remixed. But I was fine with that because I'm in love with Fighting, so I was fine with the way that one was. I didn't really need a remix of it, and the remixes were pretty much in the same vein as Nightlife was like, so no problem there that they didn't remix the album. I'm okay with that. But this is where we really get into what I wanted this for, was all the bonus stuff. And I know we're already running a little bit long into this, so I'm not going to go song by song or anything, but the demos on the Nightlife outtakes were pretty cool. There's they got the demo with Gary Moore on Still in Love with You, and It's Only Money. They got that with Gary Moore playing on that. There's some, this is all a bunch of demos of most of the songs. Some instrumental called Rock and Roll With You, which I thought was interesting. Some extended versions of like Dear Heart and Nightlife. I'm kind of glad they kept them shorter on the albums because it didn't seem like the extended versions added any real reason to have them that long, but it was kind of cool hearing it anyway. And then the alternate take showdown was actually quite interesting as well, so that was a fun listen. But Fighting, Disc 4, the outtakes from that one, I thought were really, really cool. There was, of course, they did the singles, the 7-inch mixes of a few songs there. But the instrumental demo of Ballad of a Hard Man, I really enjoyed listening to that. It was called A Song for Jesse that was just a cool little thing to listen to. I don't know if they really used much of that for anything. A couple different versions of Leaving Town. The demo for Wild One, I really enjoyed listening to that too. It was just fun just listening to that, just stripped down and just guitar. It's amazing how hard he played on the demo, how heavy he strummed compared to what ended up on the album, but it's kind of an aggressive demo compared to what it ended up being, so interesting hearing that. And then of course you got the demos of some of my favorite songs here. For those who love to live, Freedom Song and Suicide just sounded great. I mean, and to hear how they started and what they turned into is just, I love that type of development, hearing that in these things. So really enjoyed that disc. 5, there's a bunch of different mixes on disc 5 of the songs, kind of a mix of everything on this, alternate takes and stuff like that. So the acoustic demo for Philomene was kind of interesting, and the acoustic Wild One, maybe that's what I'm thinking of now. I've got my freaking... It was a lot of listening here, but yeah, the acoustic version of Wild One, I think, is the one actually on here on disc 5 is the one I was actually just talking about. But there was so much music here, I think I just got my discs flip-flopped here. And of course, we don't do edits here, so whatever, that's in there. So disc 6 and 7, we have a bunch of live stuff, which I always love listening to live things from Phil because I don't know, just they're a great live band. They were tight. Just the feel of the songs. I just love listening to live music. I love going watching live bands, and it just feels like I don't know, just a lot of this live stuff. It feels like you're there if you just sit back and listen, put the headphones on, and you can just disappear in it for a while, and just makes you feel like you were part of it. Even though this was way before I was even able to go to concerts, but it was fun listening to. The John Peel stuff was good, and the Bob Harris sessions were really good too. But for me, the stuff, the second half of disc 6, the live concert there from '74, and especially the UK tour '75, the Derby College one was really great. I really enjoyed listening to that. Just some extended stuff going on in a few of those songs, and just how raw and I don't know, just spot on they were live. And Phil's voice is just, I don't know, I just really like Phil's voice. I just like the way he sings. He's just got a very unique style to his singing, and of course with the dual guitar thing going on at this point, I just think they sounded great. So I know I'm trying to rush this to keep it, so I'm not getting too long here, but we're already to that point. So anyway, a lot of music here, a lot of stuff. Absolutely loved it. Totally worth it for me to get this box set. I love Thin Lizzy. If you're a Thin Lizzy fan, you're going to want this. I know it's kind of pricey, but totally worth it. I know I feel like I'm doing an ad for it. I should be getting paid for this. But don't make a dime off of this stuff. But anyway, not what it's about at all. It's just about loving the music, sharing music, talking about music, and it's just listening to it and enjoying it. So, I mean, I hope they keep doing this with the box sets and keep finding this cool stuff and releasing it, because I'm absolutely loving it. So until they do that with whatever the next project's going to be, we'll see ya.